Marry rich or stay single.
Don't talk to nobody unless they make 6K plus. You don't reach for your wallet for nothing.
Anytime you get sad about being single, just remember that you still have the potential to marry rich versus like your married friends, like they already settled. Like that's kind of the peak.
Any For You page, you would have encountered some messaging of some kind about trying to find your provider man. And when we're talking about provider man, we're talking about the man who is willing to take you outside of your daily tribulations and hardships into a more comfortable life. You know, we're talking about a high value provider man who is willing to give you the soft life, willing to allow you to work when you want to work, willing to allow you to not work when you don't want to work, a rich six-figure man or plus.
You admit that all you're after is money.
No, I don't. Aren't you funny? Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You might not marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help?
Okay, rich six-figure or plus, nothing less, okay? Or else he's a dusty, he's a crusty, and he's gonna cast a spell on you into a life of hardship. And you know, nobody wants that. In this video, what I will be doing is taking you on a stroll outside of the echo chamber online onto some green grass on planet Earth. Hello, my name is Dr. Sasimi Napoku and welcome back to my channel. It's important that finances are not disregarded. We cannot minimize or allow it to be made public that all we are expecting from men is that they are in the 1%, but they don't have integrity, they don't have self-control, they don't have they're not mentally sound, they're not emotionally intelligent, they're not even loving, they're not even kind, and they hate you. My problem with this whole conversation is that we're missing a huge issue. We're missing major red flags here, in that a rich man is not necessarily a responsible man. A rich man is not necessarily one that likes women. A rich man can actually hate women. Witness with our own two eyes a man of a $1 billion net worth stomp on a woman in a hotel hallway. And so I find that the material can be, without context, this whole push and agenda on marry rich or stay single, to be kind of very dangerous. to be quite frank, to be very dangerous. On the green grass, okay, in this particular, for instance, in the UK, the average age in which people get married, so for women it's 30, for men it's 32. The average salary in the UK is about, between the age range of 30 to 39, it's about 37,000 or 37,500 pounds. So on average, majority of people who are in partnerships are not dealing with the 1%. And yes, it is a matter of choice. You get to choose who you want to be with. But I just want to bring to light some things. In a recent divorce couple survey, it was actually reviewed what were some of the common reasons that women got married. And financial security was a huge factor. It was one of the motivating factors as to why a lot of women decided, you know, this is the reason why I'm going to choose my partner. However, that being said, 63% of the people who divorced said having better understanding of commitment prior to marrying could have stopped their union from collapsing. A whopping 56% said that they may have not divorced if they had a better understanding of their spouse's morals and values. Hindsight, isn't it 2020?
A history lesson for the History Channel.
The concept of marrying for money has always pretty much existed throughout history. In the ancient world, marriage served primarily as a means of preserving power, with kings and those of ruling classes actually, you know, marrying off their daughters to forge alliances, acquire land, and to produce legitimate heirs. Even in the lower classes, for instance, women weren't in a position to necessarily choose their partners. Everybody was trying to find their way out of the hood, okay? It's only in the 5th century that the ideas around marriage moved. As the church's power grew in the Middle Ages, so did its influences on marriage. And they introduced the idea of marriage being a holy union to the masses. in which it was declared one of the 7 sacraments. Then it was in the period of the Enlightenment, the 17th and 18th century, in which the ideas concerning God, nature, reason, humanity, and just the public just were now beginning to question everything. Their traditional ideas and ways of doing things were beginning to become questioned, to which love, marrying for love became a thing. The expectations were that now marriage were no longer going to be built on the foundations of mutual economic interests, but of love. And you know, parents were no longer involved in finding their children's lovers and partners, but now prospective lovers could find their own partners, to which women really, really appreciated, because now they had somewhat of a choice, right? Then we come into the 20th century, where things dramatically begin to change. You know, for thousands of years, laws and customs were set up such that women were always going to be a subordinate to their husbands at the end of the day. Despite whether they chose them for love or for money, they were subordinates. And wives slowly started to, you know, fight for their quest of being regarded as equal to their husbands throughout the rise of the feminist movement and everything that came with it. Also, there was the introduction of contraception. So now women were like really thinking about their life partners. It's like, wait, I don't even have to have this many kids. I don't even have to have kids at all. So divorces began to rise, and we're now here in the 21st century, whereby marriage for the most part is deemed a personal contract between two individuals who are seeking love, stability, and happiness. And in recent times, I don't know whether it's because of the hyper visibility online about the lives of others and social media culture and celebrity culture, and this obsession with the 1% and having more and doing more and living in luxury, #luxury, that we are going back in history into a time whereby women are like, let's scrap Enlightenment period. Okay, let's scrap all of that. Let's scrap all the love stuff and let's get straight to the money.
I think that women make unreasonable demands on men, and they don't make reasonable demands of themselves.
And to be fair, everybody knows that money has an important part to play in any relationship, any, you know, committed, long-lasting relationship. You can't really adult in this day and age without some form of financial resource and stability. And according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we need our physiological needs and safety and security needs to be met before we can even think about love and belonging. Because think about it, if you're in fight or flight, you can't really operate in selflessness because you're literally in survival mode. It's literally impossible to connect with others and experience love when you are consumed by challenges and the threats surrounding you and your fear of, you know, being evicted or your fear of being homeless. And secondly, ultimately, we all want to go into partnership feeling like we are advancing, right? We want to go into partnership thinking that we are progressing, that when I put my resources with this individual, or if I do life with this individual, I'm actually going to increase my quality of life as opposed to going backwards. But as we know, the conversation isn't really around financial stability, financial literacy, financial management. It's around just being with someone that is rich.
My mom said to me, you know, sweetheart, one day you should settle down and marry a rich man. And I said, Mom, I am a rich man.
My concern is that what is missing is what partnerships can actually achieve. And no, I'm not talking about struggle love and building with someone who is not truly a leader, who is not compassionate, who is not respectful and financially stable, financially literate. What I'm referring to is, no, he's not on 6 figures. He may be on 50,000 but what is his plan? Is this a plan that we can work with? Is this a plan that as a team we can actually build upon? Is he financially stable? Is he financially literate? Is he family orientated? Is he compassionate? Is he a leader? The reality of loving relationships is that they are mutually beneficial. Married men earn more than single men, first and foremost, because he who finds a wife obtains favor from the Lord. By marrying, men implicitly commit themselves to responsibility, which is and breadwinning is very much central to that. Having a solid income is not just a necessity for them, but it's now becoming meaningful. And why married men, I think, are just advancing is one, they're held accountable by their wives. They see that they have this woman who loves them and cherishes them. They see that they have a family that they've got to tend to, and they go hard and they go home and they seek out ways that they can obtain higher wages to support their family. We're not dealing with bums and dusties. We're talking about genuine men who love the individual that they're with and want to see the quality of life of everyone around them to increase. And to completely dismiss this man because he's not in the 1%, I think it's not wise at all. If you are a part of those individuals who are really hell-bent on having a 1% man, that is fine. But be prepared to understand that you may be engaging in the wait. I find it quite interesting that we're online talking about it's taking me forever to find the love of my life, but I also want to be with the 1%. The average millionaire does not become a millionaire until 57. So if you're 22 and you're already talking about loneliness, if you're 25 and you're talking about dating is so hard and I can't find my person, and you're so hell-bent on dating a man who's in the 1%, be prepared to wait. The reality is that I think the wait even to find the 1%, it's gonna take a long while because the cost of living has made it that obtaining financial stability is taking a lot more longer than it did before. Unfortunately, the sheer expense of just modern living, saving for retirement, investing, saving for a deposit has become extremely difficult. So what I want us to do is not to observe, marriage as this business transaction. Many of you are looking for investors and not spouses, but to look at marriage holistically and to realize that you also have ways in which that you can serve your partner and help your partner become better, and they also have opportune ways to create that for yourself. Well, thank you for listening to this video, and I hope that you learned something new. Please comment below, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.